Hello and welcome to TFT NA Regional Finals, set 9.5, final day, game number 5.
It is going to be our last cast for North American TFT for Crowan and I, so we're going to make this a good one for everyone and everyone watching and playing right now, and we're going to the Palace. So Crowan, how are you feeling on this lobby?
Oh, I'm feeling amazing. So much intense action, right? The emotions for all these players, especially the ones that are not named Wajan Iverson, right? Already having locked in his spot. It is a lot of nerves, a lot of intensity coming into this penultimate lobby. We are on Warlord's Palace, so we get to see a treasure armory round yet again to replace that Raptors neutrals, but players like Replay, right, being the defending world champion, they are in 6th place right now and need to make some magic happen. These next 2 games for him specifically have to be good.
They have to be great, if I say so myself, because if they're not, then the world will be getting a new world champion if Replay is unable to qualify. And just going off of some names that won't be there, like, I think goes to prove that NA is a pretty stacked region, but having people like Dish Soap, Replay, and Setsuko not participate is not something I think a lot of people expected. So Replay trying to take that banner of last year's success into this year and maybe repeat what he was able to do. Going back over to Milk now. Yeah, what's up, Kron?
Oh, I was just gonna build off that point, being like, yeah, Replay was somehow a world champion, but then underrated a little bit, it feels like, especially when talking about players like Setsuko, like Dish Soap. Milk has found his way into the top 3 as well, but Replay has proven that no, he is here. He is a phenomenal TFT player, NA's rising talent, and really is hungry to go back to Worlds to defend his title.
Yeah, it's almost an advantage, I feel like, to be world champion and then be underestimated at that point, right? And so let's see if that underestimation is going to be a positive for Replay going into these next 2 lobbies, and is not going to be the only one on TF. Darth Nub also on TF on this go round. Connor, who's also been playing multicasters almost every round, on Ezreal. Now everyone else on Earth, Sorcerer, Bastion, Invoker, Rogue. Sorcerer is looking like a good pick here. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking it's rough. Milk not really happy with any of these options. Would have loved to see Vanquisher come through, right? Ionia, he's been playing that line a lot today, but is I want to say stuck on the Sorcerer option here, and Milk needs this game to be good. He is on the outside looking in right now as well, coming into this game with 18 points. His recovery from starting the day off with an 8th place, very impressive. Had a couple of top 4 finishes after that, but then last game fell just a little bit too quickly. So really this game has to be a big one, but sorcerers aren't usually able to convert there to those big finishes.
It's been a hard go of it in this particular tournament. We've seen a couple people get close, but the tip-top cap of that comp does take a little bit to get to. So let's see if they do. Soju now sitting in a pretty good position, and now looking at everyone's augments. We got gold, so almost every Earth player will be doing it. And Soju, if you're a Soju fan, that is, you should celebrate right at this moment, right? Yes. Because that Demacian line we actually haven't seen a ton of so far today. A lot of people going after it, but I feel like a lot of the emblems have kind of not landed there so far. But the Demacian line is definitely something that a fan of Soju's would love to see, as it is the most successful capped board in this weekend.
Exactly, it's very popular as well. If you see the option, you're gonna click it. But even right in the beginning of the day, we had 4 players contesting Ionia Vanquishers, and 1 player going Shurima. That means that out of those 5 Earth players, no one had hit Demacia, right? So that's why we're not seeing it a lot today. Just a little bit of unlucky RNG for those players. But now Mort Dog smiles upon Soju. He's given him at least step 1, right? The first ladder rung to hold on to. Now Soju has to pull himself up and make sure to convert on it to get him back to Worlds.
Ooh, that was a nice little line there, man. And, you know, and it's not just the Mort Dog at this point. You could be saying thank you to the Mort God right now with this Demacian line, right? And so let's see if Soju's going to convert this, because that's the thing, right? While this has been the most dominating line, the +1 on the Demacian, we did see someone get sixth with it because they were trapped at tier 1 units, as we're probably going to see the Zon Gunners here with Grave on this board. So T-Lights is playing something moderately risky. It's definitely going to be first or eighth because that's what we've seen it at so far in the weekend.
Yeah, pretty much. It bottom twos. Wage and Iverson played it to a first place. I think it might have top forward another lobby barely, but yeah, usually is on that kind of first or eighth line. The Zon emblem isn't even slammed on anything right now because there is no Jinx, there's no Warwick, nothing to check the Zon mod, I don't believe yet. So a few more rounds. T-Lions is going to try to loss streak. Actually did win on 2-1. Probably unfortunate that he did that, but it's only on 1 Graves, I think. 20 gold, however, is decent to look forward towards that 3-1 roll down.
All right, now we're hanging out with Connor. This is almost definitely going to be a multicaster board, as it has been for most of the weekend. It's not been a 100% play rate for Connor, but I think it's pretty close. Okay, here is the carousel. We're going to get a look at everyone's comps right now. We have a lot of tier 2 units already for Toronto, Tokyo. It's so funny seeing Renekton being highly contested in that last lobby. And it looks like the Shurimas are also going to get picked up, but not as contested on those rolls.
Now, Toronto Tokyo did play a 9 Shurima game the course of this weekend, so we know that's the direction he's looking for again. He did pilot it all the way to a first place. Excuse me, actually played 1 each day, so 2 9 Shurima games where he got first place in both of them. And Toronto Tokyo needs to clutch up right now. We've talked about him, especially pairing with Wage and Iverson in the dominance of the first 2 days, but has fallen in day 3. Toronto Tokyo still does lead in AVP, so even though he's kind of out of the running for the top 3 spots to qualify for Worlds, still needs to place above players like Soju, right, who's just trailing behind by 0.1 of that AVP.
Yeah, came in with a lead, and slowly but surely people have been chiseling into it. Soju, the next one that might be able to create the sculpture of that AVP. A good result for Soju here would pretty much spell a really potentially a good qualifying round in that last lobby. So let's see if this is going to continue that vertical situation with the Shurimas, but as of right now, it's going to be enough to win out this round. But by how much is the question? I think it's going to be those 3 units. Yeah, because you can take a nap and get like a full 8 hours of sleep before Jin ults.
I know, right? Wage actually scammed around win early game because of a Jin cast, but this time around it is just gonna, I feel like it takes forever. It did end up losing, right? Not carrying that streak forward. Wasion does have 2s healthy, however, a very powerful augment with multicasters, and has some multi-item slams. So Wasion's not only going for that, qualifications of Worlds, he wants to get first place overall in the event with that kind of play style. Oh man, everything coming up Wasion Iverson here, but we have to look at the win streak players in this next round. Toronto Tokyo, Connor is me, and then Darthnub there at the bottom as well, trying for a loss streak.
Yeah, remember, first place gets a good hefty chunk of change as well. So it's not just those world spot. I mean, you're going to want to do something after today, and you're going to be able to take your whole family out to a very nice dinner if you're finishing into that top 3, maybe even more. But less about them and more about the 8 players in this lobby right now. And we're riding along with Toronto Tokyo once again, who needs to try to continue finishing ahead of Soju, because now that's going to be a little bit of the mini game there, and hope that Legion qualifies through those top 3 spots, which is definitely looking like a huge possibility. Twisted Fate, Poppy getting upgraded. Yeah,
Toronto Tokyo losing the streak there is really, really detrimental to him. Would have loved to econ back up to make these 40-50 breakpoints, but that loss means he is really, really behind. Definitely bodes worrying for Toronto Tokyo fans, which, myself obviously, and I'm sure a lot of other people over the course of the weekend. Darthnub, however, did secure that 5 loss streak and found a Twisted Fate 2, like you're mentioning, Boop. This is huge for Darthnub's potential to come back in this game.
All right, we actually get a Galio from the pack as well. We saw how Milk took one of these to a Vel'Koz 3. Let's see if Galio will get some help here.
Yeah, that was a nuts roll. You don't even have to roll that much. And you got a soda in the shop? No, that's illegal. Mort dog. Someone call Bryce. We need a lawyer on this one, but no. Darthnub is feeling really good about these rolls. It gives 3 Demacia with that Sona Fine. Levels up as well. Has the TF2. for all of the damage you would need. He's going to be looking at a level 6 reroll to hit TF3, hit Galio 3. It does not need to center around the Vel'Koz for this composition, and runs into Melk, who is going those sorcerers.
Yep, Darth Nub trying to turn into Darth Dub by the end of this lobby. He was able to do it on the last one, but he'd like to do it again.
Love it.
How crazy would it be if he goes from winning no lobbies to winning 2 in a row? Really great start for Darth Nub in terms of we were able to get that loss streak going, and we'll see what happens with this particular round. But the lower side of the leaderboard, 68, 61, and then 80s, and everyone looking up to Connor. Connor, the only person who is able to win streak through those rounds, is going to continue that win streak is the question. As we see Wasian take another L.
This is huge for Connor. I mean, Connor currently in 7th place right now. If he gets a couple of wins back to back, might be able to sneak into that top 3. It would be real close depending on everyone else's placements, but Darth Nub clutching up last game was huge. Now we see Melk's roll down, right, contesting those multi-casters. He has the +1 Sork, but is still going the way of the multis. Galio 2 is eluding him for now. Swain 2 is upgraded. Vel'Koz is here as well with that pair, but needs to actually hit these pairs, Boop.
I mean, then you're seeing people in the lobby getting the pairs and, you know, the upgrades just from the orbs, right? So, and we got an emblem that is something that we probably weren't super stoked about, but we can use within the package of multicasters. We're just going to be moving into potentially some other units like this Tarek, for example, because of that Sork emblem. You know, sorcerers, you know, will spread the love in terms of the damage after taking them down, but I think with sorcerers sometimes it's all about that upfront damage just not matching the full multicaster comp.
Yeah, Melk had to roll down to literally 0 gold, had to sell some of his bench to even upgrade the units like Tarek, but Tarek 2 is a big find for the upgrade. But look on the other side of the board, right? That's a Vel'Koz 2 from Connor, who has still saved at least 10 gold there, making a little bit of econ, and Melk still is the one to lose out on that matchup after having rolled to 0.
All right, we're back to the defending champion, not just for North America, but for the world. Replay in 6th place, 3 spots away from qualifying, and we said before needs a great lobby to give themselves a chance to get there. We want to push into the top 3. The AVP will also come into play, but not for replay. But the top 3 is going to be the only way that replay can qualify for Worlds. We're now along with Connor, who has been playing those multicasters. But look at this, we got a little friend here with the support item.
Yep, support item. This augment has been prioritized by so many players. Replay specifically has been using it to very high effectiveness, but the Banshees is solid for that Vel'Koz, right? Especially in mirror matchups. When the Jarvan jumps into the backline, Vel'Koz not getting CC'd, being allowed all that time to get his casts off, that's going to be absolutely massive. Not really any factor in this matchup, however, but still just the raw power of Vel'Koz 2 is being shown right in front of our eyes, and it could even win this matchup unless Orianna casts and gets the auto, but it still lives! It lives! Spoop the Gunblade healing. Connor hangs on to the win streak. That is huge.
I know for all those people that love multicasters, they absolutely enjoyed seeing that just then in that round, right, Crowan?
Yes, they definitely did. If there are any people like that who exist out there, they are feeling pretty good about that round.
For all one of you out there that is feeling good about
you
that.
Are.
Exactly. We know who you are. All right, let's go ahead and take a look around the carousel right now. Looking at these boards, we see those multicasters. We see those Vel'Koz. We see sorcerers as well. But looking at T-Lights, that is the comp. And Soju, that is the comp that's going to be a little bit different. So we're still only on a Cho'Gath 1 on this board. So this Demacian emblem popped on the first augment, and we're still hanging out.
Yeah, Soju has not found a lot of success. Mordekaiser, that is the saving grace of this composition. A Quinn is found as well. But Soju leveled to 7 and only had like 15-ish gold to roll with. He does get the Demacia emblem on the board, has 7 Demacia, has a Quinn, but they're mostly 1-star units, right? Edge of Night, a fantastic slam. The Mordekaiser is going to do a lot of work and is able to sell up to 10 gold. So at least we can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief for Soju now, but he still has a long way to go.
Yeah, thank goodness we got that Mordekaiser, right? I mean, that was looking like a pretty rough spot. I mean, seeing just the Cho'Gath 1 sitting in the front line, of course that was always going to move. Even a Cho'Gath 2 was never really a huge option, but we finally get that front line and we get that dub. This is what you call it, stabilization, and now the lobby should start evening out. But everyone's looking at Connor, who's still at 100 HP, but no gold. So you usually see that. The people in the higher part of the lobby at this point will have less gold than the people in the middle, but this is not what is the case right now. Everyone still kind of in very different places in terms of their economy, with the highest being Toronto, Tokyo, and the lowest being Connor, trying to maintain that streak into the second item round.
T-Lides currently in 4th, is playing these Zon rogues that we saw a fair bit of yesterday. We know that the mods are adaptive implants on the Graves and robotic arms in the Jinx, but looking at his spot, this is 20 gold, still level 5, 5 Jinxes, and a Graves 3. This means that T-Lides hit the Graves way later than he would have hoped, right? Otherwise, he'd be level 6, have that 4 Rogan already. It still is good enough, however, to have a 5 win streak throughout stage 3, so wouldn't be too unhappy, because sometimes if you miss out on those rolls, means you're losing stage 3, losing more HP, and it's so hard to recover from there. And as soon as he gets at level 6, right, 4 is on, 4 Rogan there, it's gonna be very powerful.
Yeah, Connor was able to maintain that streak also through this stage, so he's going to enter stage 4 undefeated, which cannot be said for Darth Nub apparently. Which is a very interesting situation right now, because we had that win in the last lobby. We're, you know, running it back pretty much, especially with the TF. We got the tier 3 TF on this board on the last one that was able to take it out. But let's see what this golden orb is going to be.
Spatula or tome? Okay. Now with multicasters, this isn't going to be as imperative as other boards, other Earth players, right, and reaching those capped out spots. But if you do level to 7, do hit a did not hit a strategist. I mean, we can make Bastion work out, I suppose. Demacia maybe, right? Shurima as well, I suppose, is an option, because Talia, of course, is a Shurima, but really usually that Shurima buff works really well for that front line, and it's gonna go on a Swain 1 or a Poppy 2. Not the best usage of a tome for Darth Nub, but it's still okay.
Yeah, it definitely feels like we're settling a little bit when it comes to what popped out of the tome, and maybe the tome actually ended up overcomplicating things when it comes to this comp. So I wonder if some decisions are made because of the Shurima emblem coming out that normally wouldn't be made for this comp might actually neuter his potential, because we're overthinking it or something like that. We do lose out on that round, unfortunately, so we're getting very close to being eliminated potentially if we lose the next round or two before we get to another item round. But we get another gold augment, Crowan, final grab back Contagion, and Fusion to start. Now we're swapping around to parting gifts.
No prismatics for us, but that's okay. Golds we will settle for, just like Darth Nub settled for the Shurima emblem. And I think that conversation of how does it warp the game plan isn't really going to come into play until the late game, if Darth Nub survives and he can think about going something like 4 Shurima. But it is just a nice +1 to get that 2 bonus, because you're not generally running a second Shurima with multicasters. Talia is your solo one, so there will always be just a little bit of relatively uncomplicated value there, as we're seeing Soju try to stabilize in the bot left with his Demacias, and Toronto, Tokyo playing the Shurimas. These Azir 2s have avoided him for a long time, and they're continuing to right now, but at least a Mordekaiser 2 is carrying his board.
Yeah, the last thing you want to hear, though, when you're talking about a player potentially doing well is the term "at least," right? That means that a lot of other things have not been there for you, and that's unfortunately going to continue to be the case. A lot of times you think the Mordekaiser 2 is the get out of jail free card, but unfortunately for Toronto, it's still going to take another L. Really curious to see where Darth Nub is. Looks like he won that round by quite a bit, and now Soju on that 9 Demacian angle, not close to that level 9 at all. No gold as well, and we're rocking a Fiora as everything goes forward.
Yeah, rocking a Fiora, rocking a Demacia Zaya, that's a new one. Did not have that on my bingo card for this weekend in playing the vertical. But you have to make things work, right? You have to settle sometimes for these carries that don't generally go in those compositions. We saw Shurima Mordekaiser, now seeing Demacia Zaya. There's not even any vanquishers on this board besides for Zaya, right? Probably part of the reason why Soju's on a 3 loss streak and goes out against the multicasters of Milk, but Milk still stuck on a Vel'Koz 1, bodes well for Soju.
Yeah, look, he found the Azir that would have given him an Azir 3 last game. Unfortunately,
no.
it is the wrong lobby. Oh, no. But the Fiora now trying to get into that back line with that Bloodthirst, was able to take down a couple units in that Sork Emblem. Not enough. Fiora taking him down along with that Quinn.
Did him dirty there, Boop.
I know, I'm sorry.
Azir, that is painful.
I think the hard part here, though, like, and I think we can actually talk about this, is a pretty frustrating situation, I think, if you're a Demacian player to be in. Coming from those emotions on that last game, you got to, like, really clear your head at this point.
Yeah, TFT is very much a mental game, right? A lot of times players, especially in high stress situations like the final day of the regional finals, right? They can get to you, but Soju has been here time and time again. He is a veteran. He knows how to navigate those emotions and, you know, all that high pressure, maybe better than some of our newer competitors here. And sometimes that's step one, right? You still have to convert, you still have to get there. Soju getting a spatula here, finding Mordekaisers, really wants to get rid of this Xayah and make that a Mordekaiser 2. That would be fantastic, but he's not finding the units, Boop.
Oh no, some of these units specifically for Soju have weirdly entered the hide and seek world championships, right? Like for this one, it is Mordekaiser just hiding away, making sure that Soju continues that frustration into these next couple of rounds. And at 22 HP, he's only got a couple left. And so it does look like we are going to see a situation where that Xayah 2 might stick around for one extra round or not. But it's all up to that Mordekaiser, and Toronto Tokyo's already got that Mordekaiser 2. But this Fiora, and Quinn now. Okay, so we win out. Darth Nub also falls. So Soju takes another round.
Yeah,
that's an Ahri already.
It is an RA. Darth now dropping dangerously low. If that was just a couple more units alive, he would be going out. Replay as well now is going to be so dangerously low. And for a player like Replay, if they go out in 8th here, that could be them saying goodbye to the world spot, right? It's so hard to recover and get into the top 3 from that. But Darth Nub claws his way out of 8th place, hopefully with that Twisted Fate 3. It's not a guarantee by any means, but TF3 could save him.
Twisted Fate trying to change the fate of Darth Nub with 1 round remaining. Darth Nub has to be perfect from here on out if he wants to compete for the lobby. Like on the other side, I think we probably feel all right about this, other than the Gargoyle Stoneplate trips on that Taric. So let's see how long it takes. But look at the Sona, look at the TF already in the back line, and then the Cataclysm from the Jarvan neutering the damage as well. So the Taric is probably going to be there for a while, but not long enough. Backline access too easy for these multicasters.
Milk is going into stage 5, still stuck on a Vel'Koz 1 and a Sona 1. That feels terrible as we get into the Warlord's Palace round. Emblems are a potential here for some of these players, but maybe just 3 completed items. But look at the HP totals, Boop. This is so close, so intense. Start them on 4. Replay 5, Milk 6, and Soju just barely out of the single digits with 12.
There's a very high possibility at least 2 of those players face each other unless they all split the top 4. They definitely want that to happen so they can all maybe get an extra round, but there is probably going to be a guaranteed elimination once we get to stage 5-1. Seeing these items go through, of course, we got a lot of AP. It's all going to be up to this Ahri, but it's going to be Adaptive Helm versus Rabadons. What hat do you want?
Oh man, I mean, you have the mana generation from the Mana Zane, so probably just wants more AP. Replay waiting for this round to tick over into 5-1, trying to just improve his board somehow, some way. Finds, I guess, a misfortune 2, giving 2 strategists. You have to settle for it, and that's the name of the game for a lot of players in this game, Boop, is you just have to settle for things you don't quite want. Is it going to be enough, though? Having to slam an IE on a Silco 1, 8 loss streak for Replay. This round is so important for him. Can he hold on for one more round?
Can the defending world TFT champion hold on for 1 round and keep his dream alive of repeating that, just like his name, make it through this round? So far, the Ahri is able to get a lot of that damage. That Vanquisher Kale not going to be doing a lot. And so far, so good. But Soju falls instead, which Toronto Tokyo is probably just okay with. But look at this. We got a triple elimination with Milk finishing in 8th. That's going to be a big deal for everyone in 4th and 5th place. Darth Nub, unfortunately, not going to be Darth Dub on this lobby. And Soju getting a great start, but literally it doesn't feel like anything else after that.
And this is a crazy lobby, Boop. 3 players being eliminated on 5-1. Milk coming into this game in 5th, goes 8th. That is so devastating. Darth Nub as well, not able to follow up the last game's success with that first. He was sitting in 3rd coming into this game, and Soju as well in that top 2 situation. This bodes so well for Toronto Tokyo, though. Gets more average placement in this game than Soju. Is going to try to separate that gap here again, and every single placement that he gets is going to be massive, but replay still on single digits could go out here.
All right, this is going to be a much harder go about it. And look at how much damage these gunners have already put down.
Pause! Is going to fall in this matchup. We see the cutscene happen. And our top 4, Toronto Tokyo, Connor is me, Wajan Iverson, and T-Lide still in it.
You know, other than Wajan, you know, it's the new names here, all in the top 4 in this lobby, right? I think most people would assume the vets would be doing better the later in the day, because that's almost always how it happens. But you know, these guys changing the course there. Wajan, of course, doesn't even need the top 4. It's going to do it anyway.
I know.
Has already qualified, of course. And again, the other qualifier that we already have is Kurum, who qualified through mid-set. And we still have 3 more spaces to go. Will it go to T-Lights? Will it go to Connor coming out from the bottom of this particular lobby? Lobby 6 is going to be intense. I'm really curious to see where like 2nd through 6th place is going to land. But unfortunately, I do think that some of our players will not have a chance, but could be a great spoiler in that last lobby. But now we're going to see these gunners, and we get to see this Azir with a couple items as well. Let's see if this Archangels is going to stack enough of that damage along with this Mordekaiser. So this is where the Shurima emblem ended up going up, but not enough damage, just the time it took to walk for that Mordekaiser. But I spoke too soon. One more ult. It's going to be the Azir Archangels along with the Zonias and the Deathfires all combining for a win there.
Zonia's diff there, Boop. The time left on that Azir 1 to get the damage through was enough. Huge props to Toronto Tokyo, right? I was saying his praises this weekend, but having the day that he's had so far is a tilter, right? Bought for every single game until now, but maintaining the composure to go top 4 in this lobby when it matters the most, and with a composition that's kind of pieced together, right? 6 Shurima, sure, that's a good vertical, but doing it with a Mordekaiser Shurima, that's not something you see every day. With just an Azir 1, itemizing it with 2 Ornn artifacts, that's great recognition, and still some heads up TFT play to get you potentially to that Worlds qualification spot.
All right, we got silliness on this board with the Edge of Night Kazante, so that might steal a unit. Maybe it's going to be a big one. It's always really funny when like the tier 1 Kazante kicks out like a tier 3 unit that's like triple its size. But there's a Kazante on the other side as well, and if it's going to hit the Taric might actually get knocked back, but no, that's a good thing for this Taric, because if the Taric gets knocked back into the back line, that means everyone else is potentially exposed, and they might get exposed anyway. Taric finally gets that ultimate off, and right now the multicasters are doing just fine in the back line. This Mordekaiser trying his best to be that god of death, but slowly but surely is going to be taken down. But it's all up to this Azir now. Last time we saw the Azir pop it up, Zonia's diff once again. Is it going to happen twice in a row? It's deja vu, folks, as the Zonias is going to be the difference maker.
Connor is me. Oh man, that Kazante that we were talking about actually kicked off the tank right there, right? Of Toronto Tokyo. The Nasus like full HP got sent flying off the board, but it didn't matter. There was still enough power of that board. 3 win streak now, Toronto Tokyo. The Zonia's Azir. That's why some players were practicing Ornn going into this tournament, I think. There's still some artifacts that have immense power around multiple compositions. Wajan Iverson grabbing one of those artifacts as well here with Death Fire Grasp going up into this round against who's it gonna be? Toronto Tokyo again. Let's see this Azir shine.
Yeah, the Azir with the Zonias has been the MVP, at least for the last 2 rounds that we have seen, but we've got some more beefy front lines at this point in time, so is the Azir 1 gonna be enough? The Cataclysm, it looks like, in the back line does take away some of that damage, but the Kazante is able to deal with it, and so far, so good with this Azir. This is by far the Azir 1 we've seen all weekend.
It really is. We've seen the 0-1s be like, oh, that sucks. Poor you.
Yeah.
You're gonna get eliminated in the bottom
Literally
four,
wet
probably.
tissue paper.
I know, right? But this one is a Giga Chat. He's like,
Yeah,
I might as well
it's
be
two
his
ply.
tier 2. It
Yeah.
is. We have doubled it up. Not the 3 copies, but at least get the 2, right? And that's going to be powerful. Wage and Iverson losing out in the last round, but that's okay because he is very, very rich. Boop, looking towards that level 9. The Jarvan in the front line is massive. T-Lides, though, our Zon Rogue player, we know can get first place in some lobbies, Boop, and T-Lides might be the second player to do it here.
Yeah, the only other person to do it is who we're looking at right now, Wajan Iverson. But that was a super capped version of that board. And we're going to be seeing Wajan rocking with these multicasters again.
Yeah.
And, you know, the Jarvan is such an important part of this because it is going to protect your multicasters, but also take down the backline. Backline access throughout TFT has been one of the most valuable traits that any unit can have. And when Jarvan can get back there, use that Cataclysm, get that CC on, those multicasters, especially in the mirror matchup, might get neutered too much, and it might happen right here.
Yeah, Connor was trying to roll for that Vel'Koz 3. We saw the
maybe
bot
not
left,
because of that support item.
Yeah, didn't get the Vel'Koz 3 though, so Wage Iverson might still be stronger for now, Boop.
All right, and this is why that support item that we talked about earlier is so good. It was for literally this exact situation, right? The Jarvan gets there, uses that ultimate, and nothing happens. But is that going to be enough? One more ship goes down. Shiver me timbers, folks. We got a win for Wajan Iverson.
Love it. Hey, Azir 2 comes through for Toronto, Tokyo, and not a moment too soon. Getting that when he is single-digit HP, 5 HP in a dream. Every single placement he can get above Soju to build that gap again of average placement is massive. Connor needs a big finish as well, so these are 2 fantastic players to watch here in this matchup. Still 1 away from that Vel'Koz 3 for Connor. Hasn't hit it yet, but has more HP to find it. But Toronto Tokyo, this is his last shot.
All right, we potentially are on an elimination station for Toronto Tokyo, looking at Connor as me, who was pacing the lobby for the majority of the early game, but now has had a bit of a harder time making those wins come through, especially in a row. We get Kazante in the back line with that Nasus, and it's happening. The Nasus is out of here. I think he plays for the Diamondbacks. All right, let's see if this Azir is going to be able to get a couple more steals when it comes to this, or maybe the Zhonya's is enough. It is not. We do get 1 extra unit, though, to come off the board. But Toronto Tokyo will finish in 4th.
Disappointing finish for Toronto Tokyo. It is a top 4, but only 2 placements above Soju. Does not make that gap that much wider, Boop. There is a Taric now in Connor's shop. He has to lock it. Maybe if he finds a Vel'Koz or a Taric on Carousel, that will be a snap pickup there. If Wajan or T-Lides falls into range, perhaps, you know, they can deny it. So gotta be thinking about all these factors here, as well as that support on that Banshee's in the back line. Not really much positioning difference besides that one K'Sante. What can it make happen?
All right, really curious to see how this one's going to go. And now the Taric is going to have to take a lot of the heat in that front line. The K'Sante also not going to be able to do much, especially because it was taken down so quickly. These tanks aren't going to last very long, and Connor is going to be hoping and wishing for the Mort God to give him what he needs.
1 Taric, 1 Vel'Koz on the carousel. Is it here? No. Nautilus and Karma are the 3 costs we see. Only 1 emblem with that Noxus. Connor does grab the death cap, however. Wajan gets stuck with just a rod. Maybe he had a floating component left over and make something happen there. But Connor, only 10 HP. Boop. He needs to find this upgrade right now. He has to sell out of 1,
here?
right? I think you sell out of 1. I think you sell the Tarics, go for the Vel'Koz 3. If you lose another round, you're out of here. They might be saying goodbye to Worlds.
Oh,
and he
good
does
choice.
And he hits the Vel'Koz 3, Boop. Connor is him. Needs to win this matchup versus Wajan to keep his hopes alive.
Connor is him versus the only qualifier from this tournament so far, Wajan Iverson. Who is it going to be? Are we going to see the 1v1? It looks like we will. Connor is me with that Vel'Koz 3. You like how that sounds too? Is not going to have to worry about that Cataclysm in that back line. A lot of that damage from the Vel'Koz is already getting there. The second Cataclysm doesn't really matter either. The Vel'Koz still very, very healthy, and Connor will continue to be him.
Connor hit, and he needed to. If that was Vel'Koz 2, Connor would be out of here in third place, and it would be so hard to break into that top 3. Wajan Iverson, though, level 9, has another shot, right? Probably won't go out in the next round. Same with T-Lides. Still can find some upgrades, right? This is a TF1 to Leah 1, but they're not the big ones, right? GP2 with these 3 items would be absolutely massive. Going to probably go up against either a Ghost or T-Lides here. We'll see if he can continue to hang on. Same with Connor here, going up against the Ghost of T-Lides.
All right, I'm looking at Wajan and T-Lides as well. Will these tier 1 units be able to stay alive long enough? Has there been enough damage done with these gunners? It's 2 versus 3, and the boat is all she wrote, and T-Lides takes the L on that one. Vel'Koz 3 survives at the other side as well. So we still have 3 players going into stage 7, which means that there's going to be 1 round for Connor. T-Lides, I think, can get an extra one along with Wajan, depending on how those rounds go. But we're pretty much 2 rounds away from finding out who will win this lobby.
Not only who will win the lobby potentially, but if Wajan Iverson wins it, Boop, he'll lock in first in the whole tournament, and he's so close to doing so. It would be a dominant run, but we still have a couple of rounds to get there, Boop. 3 players alive going into stage 7. We don't see that every day, but T-Lides being able to take this rogue gunner Zon board into a level 9 situation, maybe get an Aatrox in, is rolling for, you know, the unit that he wants. It might just end up being that Rise, but Wajan was trying to roll for a GP2 as well. Does not look like he hit it, unless I missed something, but now more items go onto that Katarina. T-Lides fighting for a good finish as well because he needs it.
All right, can Wajan qualify not through one direction, but by 2? We will know by the end of this lobby. It's T-Lides versus Connor. Connor's on an elimination game, but he has that Vel'Koz 3, which he made by taking the Taric that he thought he was going to chase that tier 3 with, and then investing it and selling it into the Vel'Koz anyway. It looks like it's been a good thing so far, but no! The backline gets taken out by the Graves, and it looks like Connor is going to fall.
Connor, a great run to make it here. Fought tooth and nail. Getting third here is going to mean his game 6 is so rough. I don't know if it's possible for him to still make it to top 3, but hey, we'll check in the scores later and see if it is. For now, though, T-Lides versus Wajan Iverson. Both players above 20 HP, so if it's like a 1-unit loss, we'll be here for another round, but if it's by 3 or more units, we're going to be saying goodbye to this game, Boop. T-Lides versus Wajan Iverson. Take it away.
Here we go. The penultimate lobby might end right here and right now. Let's see how good this Graves and that Zon is going to be along with these multicasters. But the boat is going to come in and try to take down as many people as possible. They're not able to do that. And the Graves is already in the back line. But the Vel'Koz is also helping the rest of the team with that Hextech gunblade.
Oh,
and in the blink of an eye, it's the Aatrox that pops out and will take the dub over Wajan. But guess what, folks? We're not done just yet. We get to go again. Stage 7-3.
Oh, that was one of the closest results of a matchup I think I've ever seen from 2 super cat boards, right? Coming down to just an Aatrox, but Wajan Iverson hits the GP2. That's the upgrade he was looking for, Boop. That boat damage is now going to be so much more powerful. Take down the rogues and the gunners so much faster. Wajan could be sending this the other way. Just a few more seconds, the repositioning isn't going to matter.
Can Wajan put a lock on arguably one of the more dominating performance that Regionals has had, winning both average placement and potentially the whole tournament after this particular round? Now let's see if this boat's going to be able to take him out, and it's a little bit disappointing, I would say, as now Wajan only has 1 more unit left, and Wajan will finish in at 2nd place. T-Lides, though, in that positioning is a huge result, getting those 8 points. He's going to be up there in terms of being able to qualify for this last lobby, but Crowan, Necra, I am so excited to see where these